Good afternoon, and welcome to another Super Secret Project sketch. This is Eric Whalen from Super Secret Project X, and I think that's probably like 10 in a row. Yeah. Anywho, today, not that I'm going to try anything really different, but I'm going to try something that's a little challenging, but challenging in a strange way. Today, I am going to attempt to draw one of the Powerpuff Girls. Now, if you think about it, that's not too difficult, but if you draw them the way they're like drawn in the show, they're pretty simple. But since I draw with a certain amount of structure, this should be fun.
Right, so you go for Mojo Jojo for that reason.
Well, I kind of want to, but I just felt because they're like little Cupid dolls. I mean, they're like really wonderfully simple. This is the best image I could find. It's actually not bad. It's one of the official model sheet for size comparison, but it's not like super huge. But anyway, the thing that I like about this is it just screams how rudimentary they are, and I want to see if I can try to give them a certain amount of structure, and so that's what I'm going to do. And or attempt to do. There we go. I'm gonna get that right over in there. Okay. Actually, fall flat on my face. I was beaten by the Powerpuff Girls, which is actually pretty appropriate. It's actually why I love them. I was in college when that came out. That's like right when Cartoon Network was going, and we were halfway at the end of college. Anyway. I thought it was hilarious because I turned it on thinking, and the thing is that it's not that I disliked a lot of the Cartoon Network shows, like I thought they were good, but none of them really sang to me until Powerpuff Girls, and I'm like, yeah, I really loved one of them. And it was funny because it was this perfect level of absurdity. I mean, perfect level. I mean, all the design work is perfectly absurd. All of the designs are just back up the goofy nature of the show.
They're really inspired by a lot of the old school 50s kind of stuff with like the basic shapes.
Yes.
And very oh man, sorry, I'm just not in.
No, it's kind of been one of those weekends.
But yeah, I like the see Craig McCracken and
Lauren Faust and
Genndy
Gendy.
Tartakovsky.
I never get his name right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gendy.
Yeah, they were. I know Craig McCracken and Genndy were the main ones that were doing it. Come on, Brain.
Go, Brain, go.
Craig McCracken, he was the main guy, that's right.
Craig McCracken.
Craig McCracken, he was working on that, and Lauren Faust is one of the storyboarders, and that's how they met, and they're married now.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was one of the original sketches they put up at one point in time. The original name was the Whoop-Ass Girls.
Yes.
So I was going like, and the thing was, it was almost exactly the Powerpuff Girls. That's what was really funny about it.
Yeah, it was Craig McCracken's one of his like pet projects, and it was the original short was called the Whoop-Ass Girls, and Chemical X was actually called Can of Whoop-Ass.
Is
Yes.
it really?
He actually poured a can of Whoop-Ass into the mixture, and that's how they became.
Can of Whoop-Ass.
Yep.
Well, the funny thing is I've been rewatching it again. I mean, again for the first time, seeing it again for the first time, hence rewatching it. Whew, it's one of those weekends, and I was sitting back going like, man, including, by the way, this is a censored version, so that some of the little micro jokes were taken out. Even so, I am laughing my butt off. And then on an action level, I was going like, this show is actually very advanced because I'm kind of comparing it to like Justice League. And like when Justice League would whoop up on a giant monster, Justice League Unlimited, any of the Incarnation Sense, almost any of the Incarnation Sense, you'd be like, oh, you know, like, oh, that looks painful. But when the Powerpuff Girls are whooping up on somebody, you're like, oh. And it's that like high-speed swarm of 3 girls just nailing dudes over and over like machine gun fire. And I'm going like, that is awesome.
I still think one of the saddest but funniest moments is when they got addicted to the candy that the mayor was giving them, and they were purposefully beating up Mojo Jojo to get more.
Poor
candy.
Mojo.
Yeah, and that ending one, that last beat 'em up sequence when they beat the living
brutal.
Yeah, they beat the living steak out of him, and he was just
brutal.
And he had the single tear that rolled down.
And the broken teeth, and you're like, oh.
The fingers that were completely broken the opposite way. His brain canister was busted, exposing his brain. And like I said, that what got me after all that, I was like, oh man, they beat the crap out of him. And then that single tear that rolled down, I actually felt bad.
I was like, it's me too. I was going like, jeez.
And they're just like, oh my gosh, what did we do? It's like Bubbles.
Oh, Bubbles is the funniest thing on the show. I mean, everything on the show is funny. Everything. I laugh at everything, but there's something about Bubbles that just kills me. And I think it's because she's the only one that actually really acts like a little girl. And then she just messes things up. And you're like, it's so funny. And such a good show. Actually, see, I'm laying out the whole body for 2 reasons. One, it's a good idea to do it when you're doing your characters and such. 2, I am staying away from the face like the plague at this moment because I, on purpose, didn't figure out how to do this face because I want to do it structurally, and the Powerpuff Girls' faces are irrational in every conceivable way. The Simpsons makes more sense than this. That's why this is awesome. That's why I wanted to do it. And I am just going like, oh, woof. That was exactly it. I was like, I felt like drawing a full character. The problem with full characters are they can take a long time. So I typically only do that with simple characters. So I was like, oh, the Powerpuff Girls would be perfect. Then I'm like, oh, their face. Oh, their faces. Oh, that's going to be hard. I'm like, yeah, might as well. Pull that scab off all at once. Or Band-Aid. Pull that Band-Aid off all at once. That came out wrong. That came out wrong.
Yeah, scab's kind of bad. Like
Yeah, don't pull the scab off. That's that is a bad idea.
Unless you're like into that sort of thing.
I get yeah, that completely came out bad. That was not right. All right, so I'm gonna put in the big Cupid doll arms. The arms are some of the best parts of the show. They really are. It's like I like the way they did the whole body design because it was so simple. But the arms and legs are basically like these soft, squishy hot dogs that just flail around and whip the crap out of people. And
yeah, I actually have some of the reproductions of the character design sheets there. I can't remember where they are, but yeah, like one of the things was when drawing the arms and legs, do not make them look like wet floppy socks.
Yeah, and I was actually looking at the notes on that. They were real specific, and on one of them it was one side always straight, one side always curved. It's not like a hot dog, but it is like a hot dog, but it's not like a hot dog. And so that's actually it's one of these wonderful things that if you get it just right, they're really funny to watch and draw. And I haven't actually drawn them before. No, I've done like kind of little things, but not really actually tried. And so I'm going like, so this should be good. And now I have brought it down to it's 1 of 2. I'm not doing Buttercup. I'm not doing Buttercup, and Buttercup is funny. I might end up doing Bubbles.
I was about to say, Bubbles seems to be your favorite.
Oh my God, she slays me. Sarah Strong is so funny.
Tara Strong.
Tara?
Tara.
I was thinking Cerebellum. Terabellum. Sarah Strong.
Zoo type.
Exactly. Well, the funny thing is I was actually, early on, I was excited when I heard that Japan licensed it to do an anime of it. And then I saw it, and I was like, guys, I like your work, and I like your design stuff. You didn't even get close to doing the Powerpuff Girls. I literally saw it for like 5 minutes and went, you guys didn't even bother to try. I was like, and then I just realized, you know what? No, the Powerpuff Girls are exactly in the original version what they're meant to be. I haven't seen the new version yet. I'm not going to say anything about the new version yet because I haven't seen it. I want to go all the way through the original before the new version. But I gotta say I have a little bit of trepidation on that because I'm just going like,
Well,
the original was so perfect.
I saw maybe one or two of the new, and I wasn't impressed even more so because they didn't have the original voice actresses.
Oh, that's why would you do that?
Exactly.
The original voice actors and actresses are one of the reason why the show was so good.
Yeah, and it's when they announced that they were doing the new show, Tara Strong actually popped online and she was just like, "Yeah, kind of sucks that they would do that."
Didn't even
to us."
bother
And
to ask.
Didn't wouldn't even bother to ask. If we
Why
wanted
would
to
you
come
do
back. Yeah.
that?
Especially such an iconic, an iconic show like it
Yeah,
was.
that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm trying not to judge, but I'm going like, I'm sort of it's like a version of Bugs Bunny without Mel Blanc doing it. I'm willing to go there, but I'm not going to be all like, yeah, because it's like you just get this
Well, we got
this
a-
person making that character, and you're like,
Well, to be fair with that, we got a good version with the Looney Tunes show.
no, we did, and I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just simply saying that it's not like a thing that gets me all juiced. You know, it's like that's sort of a, ooh, okay, they got a bit of an uphill battle. Maybe they pulled it off, maybe they didn't. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I'm just going like, okay, well, I also kind of want to know what the humor is like on the show, because watching Powerpuff Girls again, I mean, Sarah Bellum's home address is 69 Yodel in the Valley Lane. I mean, that was on a children's show. And I'm watching it, I'm going like, this was really more of a show intended for like college students my age. I mean, I know kids watched it, but I'm watching a show going like, this was for kids?
I mean, all the adult jokes that just flew over most little kids' heads. I mean,
Yeah, but they were like really adult
exactly,
jokes.
that was hilarious.
I mean, it's not like the old days where it was sort of adult. You know?
I mean, it was the whole Animaniacs fingerprints. I think it's like the one little girl with the Robin. They made friends with the little girl like, our dad made us by mistake. But that's okay. I was a mistake too. No, I was an accident too.
That was an accident too. Well, my favorite one, and they cut it out in the streaming version, is they're getting Professor Utonium ready for his date, and Buttercup slips a condom into his jacket. You'll need this for later, and I'm like,
You need some of these.
you need some of these. Yeah, I
And
was like, whoa.
And I don't know if I really don't know if they cut it out because I remember.
No, they cut it out because I watched the sequence. They cut it short.
I just remember seeing it's like the tip of a little square going into his pocket.
It was very clearly she was giving him condoms, which was hilarious. And you're going like, that's inappropriate. And that's kind of the way it should be, and that's why the Powerpuff Girls was funny, because there's just there's the first episode where Mojo Jojo steals the Anubis statue to turn everyone in the world into dogs so he'd have slaves, and then like 2 or 3 seasons later, they do the exact same episode again, except at the end of it where Mojo Jojo failed, he stops and goes, "No, I've corrected the plan this time," and you're going like, what the heck are they doing? This is so screwed up, you know? Okay, I'm going to kind of I'm not going to give like fingers and hands and stuff because I very much, you know what? No, I will give a little bit more of a foot, but not much more because they've got those like, the cutie little girl shoes with like the little strap at the
Mary Jane's.
Mary Jane. Okay. So they've got those. I kind of want to indicate a little bit more of a shoe there, because it's not that I can do better than the originals. I actually think the originals are just about as perfect as they can be. But I have to be true to myself here. I feel the need to give a little bit more of a shoe. I don't want to touch the hands at all, though, because I still think it's funny seeing these squishy blob hands just whooping people. It's just that's.
And I think one of my favorite moments is like if you like they were having like I think a sushi or something like that. And
Oh, with
Bubbles-
the chopsticks?
and chopsticks.
And there's her sausage hand, and the chopsticks were just sitting off to the side like
Yeah,
Wolverine's
also-
claws,
Yeah.
and they were just floating there working, and I'm just dying because I'm going like, how wonderfully absurd was that? And you got some people out there going like, see, that's the reason why the show sucks, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's the reason why it's awesome.
Like,
I remember hearing people complain about Powerpuff Girls here and there, and I just go like, you don't get it. You're just the wrong personality type. You know, don't watch Powerpuff Girls if you don't understand how funny that is.
why don't you like fun?
Yeah. Well, you know, and give them credit. They know what they like, but strangely enough, they don't understand that other people like different things. But it's like I really love action shows. I just really do. That's my base show. That's one of the reasons why I like Powerpuff Girls, because it's a comedy action show. But it is not your typical like Fist of the North Star, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Manly Man action shows. It's instead this wonderfully silly, super goofy. All right, I almost have to stop talking now because I have to. What am I going to do with the eyes? I'm almost there's a part of me going like, just replicate what's in the drawing, and I'm going like, I kind of want to, but I'm also like, what else could it be? Wait, I'm going to stop. This is the moment to stop. Oh, that's a good sound. Okay.
Sponsored by this nondescript drinking product.
What now?
It's sponsored by this nondescript drinking
I know.
product.
By this very general, non-sugared fizzy water. God, it's. I'm actually sitting here battling this because I'm like, I want to do something other, but I can't figure out what that would be. All right, well, let's just kind of figure out where the original would be. Just use that as the start point. It is. They just divided a big oval up with other ovals, essentially. And then let's see if that brings me anywhere. Which it just might, if I start kind of thinking to myself how they're huge, their eyes are gigantic. That's why they're so funny. All right, they're pretty even with the mouth. Like one of my favorite Bubbles lines, because it's so absurd, because, she can take out the entire U.S. military by herself, is, Miss Keene, Billy threw a paper ball at me. And you're just going like, what? It's just so perfectly like that nice, sweet little girl that doesn't know what to do about the mean boy. Meanwhile, she's like she can beat up Superman.
Well, I take it into the fact, my headcanon with that is she has to do that because she can't take it into her own hands because she will literally kill him. So it's like, no, he's being a little snot.
Oh, she's being a responsible character.
Exactly.
See, I was just reading as that silly, like, cute little thing that, the cute little girl character in the classroom does. But that's a whole new level right there.
I think she's doing both, honestly, because Bubbles would do that. She's like, oh, why
She's
are you doing
concerned.
that? Yeah, because if he does it again, I'm going to probably punch a hole through him. Yay!
Do, 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 do. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's actually quite good. That's actually quite good.
I've been told I can do a good Bubbles.
Billy threw a paper ball at me. Oh, Bubbles. You're so funny. you know what? As I'm just going in and I'm kind of figuring the shapes out, I cannot come up with a solution because if you take it too far away,
It's
so
not-
what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try to make the shapes flow properly with the sphere, which they kind of already do.
Yeah, I'll say if you anything else you add onto it, it doesn't be. It's
Might just take away from it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just have fun.
What now?
To have fun.
No, it's. I am having fun. I'm just trying to also challenge myself at the same time.
And there's this one guy, and I've told you about him before.
Oh, that guy.
Yep. And Caulfield Gaggle. But yeah, I told you about him. He goes by the name of Bleed Man.
Bleed Man.
Bleed Man on DeviantArt. Yeah, I've told you about him before, and you've seen his artwork.
I was about to say that the name currently is not ringing a bell for some reason.
But he's been doing this ongoing long epic of a lot of Cartoon Network properties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now I remember.
And doing
Yes.
it, and I love his artwork and I love his style. But man, there are some questionable things. I'm just really concerned about him.
Well, it's I mean, the way I look at it is incredibly simple. Is artwork isn't real, and when people start trying to make it like, they're trying to read too much into it. I'm going like, it's creativity. Messed up stuff is going to happen.
Oh.
Going to movies and messed up stuff happens.
Oh yeah, it does. But I also get a little weirded out when he's drawing naked 8-year-old girls in sexy poses and lingerie.
Well, that's what it is,
Like I'm a little like I love his comic stuff, and his stories are usually pretty fun. They can be a bit convoluted and I don't want to say basic, but it is what it is. But there's some things like some of the stuff that his off the counter stuff basically that I've seen. I'm just like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, each to their own. He's not hurting anybody. He's not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole lot of artwork out there. If we all approached it, there'd be suddenly a ton of censoring and stuff, and I don't want
And
to see
there
that.
already is.
But that's what I'm saying is I just, to me, I don't believe censoring is really going to be all that beneficial.
I don't know. There's.
Perhaps artists being more sensitive as to what they're doing, perhaps, but not censoring.
Yeah, I don't care much for censoring also, but I also don't care much for people drawing
Mhm.
little kids in sexy poses, and it's
I am not arguing, sweetie.
yeah.
I'm just simply saying is what it is.
Well, either way, he does his Powerpuff Girls that he draws. They're more of the they have the arms and legs, and they're more human-esque, and they're really
Yeah,
cute. the way he
and
draws
I've
it.
seen some people do them that way, and
Oh, yeah,
it's
same here.
the ones that can really pull it off. It's really cool looking.
Yeah.
I'm just loving like this like little stuffed doll look that they originally had. I'm trying to figure out like, well, what can I do with that?
And I'm currently flipping through. There's a show coming on. Well, the show that's on Disney Channel right now called The Owl House. I've been wanting to check it out because it looks kind of cute.
I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, same here. It's about a girl who's, I think she's like going into a place with like there's witchcraft and it's like Harry Potter kind of esque stuff.
Yeah,
So
I get
there's
you.
like fantasy and sorcery and all this stuff, and apparently Alex Hirsch, who's one of the people involved with it, I think.
Nice.
He's just been getting bombarded with all of these like quote Christian networks
Oh,
and
stop.
the 1 Million Mom group and all that. That same group that's been literally marching over anything that's fun, trying to get rid of people.
Well, it's. I was listening to some TED Talks today while I was at work, and this one lady that is ex-Westboro got up there, and it was a really good talk because she was just like, completely getting pulled out of the cult and all that, and is now she sort of makes her rounds, sort of apologizing and explaining and talking about cults and how people act and stuff, and her story and this and that, and I just get to a point where I'm going like that's like earlier when I said the artwork is what it is, because there's too many different types of people on the planet. No one is ever going to agree. It's just never going to happen. It's a total fantasy. It's a utopian thought process that suddenly a bunch of people are going to agree, and I'm going like, I just want to set up where everybody can basically, as close to humanly possible as it can be for them to live how they want to live, just leave everyone else alone, kind of a thing, because it's like, no matter what you do, somebody's not going to agree with you. They're going to see something a different way, they're going to think of something in a very different fashion, to me, as long as people aren't being hurt, then I'm willing to let a lot of stuff go, because I'm going like, it's just never going to happen. We're never going to fully agree about stuff. I mean, even amongst like married couples and families and all the people that theoretically could agree about everything, typically don't. It's just you end up going like, it's just not going to happen. So poor, it's like, I feel for him, because it's like, oh, we're going to make sure our opinion. That's great. Everyone's got one. Why are you sharing it? I've already got my own. I have to handle my own. So I feel for Alex Hirsch, because Gravity Falls was amazing. And just simply because of that, I have a certain level of, I trust the Alex Hirsch brand. And so I'm like, okay, well, dude, I trust you. So these people should probably leave you alone until they've fully seen the product, fully understand it, and hey, they still might not simply agree.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly much he's involved with. I think he's doing a voice or so in there, a voice or two.
Yeah. I didn't think it was his show.
No, it's not his show. No.
Yeah.
But he's been promoting it quite a bit off of his Twitter page and stuff, and there's just so much stuff that I'm just missing because we don't have Disney.
Sure.
And stuff. But I was like, if it pops on some like streaming thing or some point, I'll catch it or so. But yeah, he's been having fun just mocking all of these people who are coming after him, and he's just like his latest one was just like, oh yeah, don't you guys know I serve my three masters, Satan, Moloch of the Owl House, and King Bowser from the Mushroom Kingdom.
Tell me he did that in the Grunkle Stan voice.
No, he wrote it out in response to one of the
My Lord Satan.
Oh, hell Beelzebub. Bob.
Underworld god of insects. Oh, Morgan, goddess of death. Give me your pagan powers. I'm not even doing a remotely good Grunkle Stan because I can't do that voice. I wish I could.
Wait, this isn't blood. Wait, is this real blood? Are you kidding me? Who's bleeding over here?
All over my shag.
I've seen real blood. This is it.
This ain't it. Now that over there, that's the real thing.
It was still one of my favorite lines of his when they were trying to when Mabel was trying to make him look better for his date with Lazy Susan. And she's like, first we have the before picture, the picture of him, and then like, and there's the after, and he's just even worse.
He's even worse.
Like his torn shirt, dirtied up. Is that throw up on your shirt? I don't know how to answer that.
He's so good. He is so funny. He is so funny. I don't know how to answer that.
I don't know why that line got me, but man, like, is that throw up on your shirt? I don't know how to answer that. Like the flies were like just flying around him. Like one sock was. Did he even have socks on? I don't remember. I think
one
sock
was
off.
missing. Oh, Grunkle Stan. You are one of my favorite superheroes.
He is.
I think one of the reasons why I love him so much is he's so broken. And yet intends to do the right thing. Not all the time, but overall the right thing. / totally broken. And what's so funny about the Powerpuff Girls is the Powerpuff Girls at moments are tremendously broken people. Like, they treat them like little kids, and there's these moments where they're completely dishonest, or like they'll just brutalize somebody for candy or something, and you're just like, oh my god.
Well, my favorites are the twist where they're in there's the part where they're supposed to forgive the villain, and oh no, you're just gonna go to jail and all this stuff. It's like, nope, they just beat the crap out of him and then just toss him into jail.
It's and I mean, they are, if you'd put it into a realistic style, and preschool, so 5.
They're kindergarten,
so 5, 6 years old.
Yeah, about 5.
Okay, so, and you got 3, 5, or 6-year-old girls pounding dudes like that, where teeth are flying out and stuff. I think if you put that in a realistic style, it's probably funny, but in a very dark way.
I mean, I mean, with like the Rowdy Rough Boys, imagine your nephew like having superpowers.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, I actually think that's horrifying because they're moving so fast.
Well, come to think of it, Gaten does kind of look like, who's the Bubbles equivalent with the...
I don't remember.
It's
Bub, I
it's
think.
Like, it's Brick, because Brick is the leader, the red hair. Crap,
I'm actually surprised. I never did get to catch every episode of Powerpuff Girls, so now I get to catch all of them. And I'm watching it, and they only showed up once so far. Now, I'm not done yet. I'm hoping they come back.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I was going like, I actually really liked the idea of them because they were like the anti-Powerpuff Girls, which was awesome. They were actually faster, stronger, and more dangerous. But they were so emotionally unstable that the girls were able to beat them with that embarrassed boy thing, which was hilarious.
Brick, Boomer, and Butch. Brick is the, of course, redhead. Boomer's the Bubbles with the blonde, and Butch is the Buttercup.
Nice.
Okay, you need to stop. I hate this. Hit the X to close the ad. You hit the X, and the ad pops up anyway. It's like, why are you making it full screen?
Because they suck.
Another simplified style show that I absolutely love and wish that they would either put onto streaming or get a DVD set of it of some sort is Super Robot Monkey Team.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I don't know why that just popped into my head, but it did. I think, I don't know why.
That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the few ones where they sort of took sort of the overly cheesy sort of anime ideas and made it work.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike, and I know people out there are going to disagree with me, but Teen Titans, the first one, and everyone was just absolutely stunningly in love with. I didn't think it was bad. It just wasn't my thing. But I did not, of all the things the thing that turned me off the most was just sort of this not well done version of like anime fast takes.
Yeah, the wild
The wild, thank you, wild takes, and I just saw them. I'm sorry, this is clumsy. This is really clumsy, and I'm not saying that to be mean or like all color done better. I'm just saying like when I saw them, I was just going like, is this? I'm sorry, it just for me it just didn't work, and everyone loved it. I'm like, all right, then you guys have that. I just won't watch it. Um,
Yeah, and it's for the people who love it. Good for you. And it was absolutely for you. And
yeah, I mean, good for them.
yeah, and
You got yourself a thing, you know.
like me personally,
I didn't get it.
I like Teen Titans Go way better, but on the same note, I'm also a big fan of slapstick and.
I preferred
and
Young
goofiness
Justice. I thought Young Justice was just cool.
Well, to me, Young Justice is a completely different.
Well, to me, it's not
Also-
because it's the same characters. It's you want to go and you do the silly thing. I've seen it done well, like Batman, not Beyond,
Which
the comedy one, Brave and the
Brave
Bold,
and the Bold, yeah.
hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was so funny and so well done.
Well, I mean, I consider Young Justice a completely different show because the only thing that they have in common is basically Robin, and I mean, and all like because Teen Titans is different from Young Justice with as far as team and makeup and all that stuff. So.
I mean, I get that. I'm just saying, in general, it is the Teen Titans, and the other version is essentially another version of the Teen Titans. And when I look at both shows, I go like, oh, I just prefer the one that's like, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and and it's fine that people have the other ones. They're just not for me. I'm like, oh.
Well,
I mean, to me, if they this is gonna sound so stupid, but it's true. If they did it in the way the Powerpuff Girls was done, because this Powerpuff Girls is a ridiculous show, totally silly with totally silly jokes and blah 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 and yada yada, and I laughed so hard every single time. And then I saw Teen Titans Go, and there was a couple episodes that. Like the music video one, and you showed me. I thought they were legitimately like, "Oh, this is a good episode," But the original Teen Titans, I just didn't understand. I think at all. I was like, "Oh, this is just not for me."
Night begins to shine. That was such a fun episode.
I think when Teen Titans Go was right, it was spot on perfect. The rest of the time, though, I was like, not really my thing. But when it was funny, it really was. Maybe I just missed something in the original Teen Titans, which is entirely possible. Maybe I caught all bad episodes or something.
And the thing is, I remember watching, I want to say like the last episode before they canceled it, and it actually was getting decent. And I was like, oh, this is actually becoming a decent show. And then they canceled it. And I was
It only
like,
took seasons to start getting decent.
Yeah, but I mean, when people, again, absolutely loved it, I was like, oh, well, that's and good for them that they
Yeah,
loved it.
good for them.
Yeah, I'm
Glad you found your thing.
yeah, and
Not my
and
thing.
the just whole vitriol that people have just getting angry over Teen Titans Go. It's like, well, it's not like the original Teen Titans got erased. It's still there, guys. You can still watch it. Just why are you getting so angry over a show that literally was aimed at like 7 and 8 year olds?
Well, it's and I don't want to sound like mean, but I think there's some people out there that's actually their life is like a TV show, and I think there's more to live for, and I love cartoons and I love drawing cartoons and stuff, but at the end of the day, this is not my wife. This is not my life. This is a fun thing, and if somebody doesn't like one of my favorite shows, they don't have to watch it, and I don't have to watch their show. I also don't have to sit there and go like, oh yeah, no, I totally love this one. I don't. I'm just like, it's just not my thing. Like there's stuff that I watch that I can pretty well guarantee most people just won't get into.
Yep.
So what's the point in me being all like, oh, I can't believe they don't like Terrahawks? It's like, no, I completely get why they don't like Terrahawks if they've even heard of Terrahawks.
It's like it's this one guy did this comic a couple years ago, and it literally is just like some dude about to go off on something, and the character just pinches the guy, his lips shut, just goes, shh, let people enjoy things.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, it's not your business.
Yeah, it's amazing how on the internet how people are so angry over people liking stuff, and it's
It's like, but you need to know my opinion. I don't give a crap what your opinion is. I just don't. I mean, unless, for example,
your opinion is like eating babies.
John Lasseter walks up and has an opinion about my artwork. He has earned my interest to hear his opinion. Because I'm like, oh, you actually know kind of what you're talking about. Let me know your opinion. Maybe I might learn a couple things, you know. I also may disagree. But at least there's a reason for me to go like, yeah, dude, please, I would like to know. Miyazaki, which would need a translator, by the way. Like, he goes over some of my illustrations. I would be interested in his opinion. Some guy on the web that, you know, and this is me not being insulting. This is me, guy that, sales manager, whatever. You know, professional, nothing wrong with the guy, blah, blah, blah. Does not share my opinions at all. Well, I'm sorry. Why would I care? I mean that. I don't mean to like sound like a jerk, but I'm just like,
Well, not only
but I really love cartoons. I really love cartoons. What does that matter? You know.
And that's the thing. There's a difference between having an actual conversation,
Yep.
a constructive conversation, a
Yes.
construction criticism over things, and then just having demon monkey lover 666 come flood
Yeah,
out.
I just
yeah,
don't
this sucks, and you all suck for liking it. It's like,
All right.
well, okay.
Cool.
Um,
I have no other opinion. All right,
Thank
cool.
you for your opinion, random dude in the stratosphere of the internet.
Yeah, it's just I'm like,
It's like-
you think I care why? And this is me again. I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I'm like, I'm sorry. You go on the list of 7 whatever billion people on Earth that doesn't agree with me. I don't have time for that. I don't. You know.
There's been this another just stupid wave that just came through with the new Thundercats cartoon, which I still want to catch and see.
I need to see it before I can say anything.
And there's just been a people, and I'm just flat out say with crap takes on the stuff, and to the point where they're not only they're insulting the people working on the show, calling artists and animators lazy and
A pack of jerks.
yeah,
like
and all
they
the-
even work on shows.
and that's it, and all these and the animators are like there's and the animation community is coming back up saying, guys,
dare
like
you.
how like unless you actually work in this profession, you
Yeah,
can't
seriously.
call anybody this stuff. It's like you
You don't
like-
even know what we do.
yeah, they're like it's insulting to call people who are working hard on this stuff lazy. Like okay,
They're
you don't-
told what to do.
yeah, there's-
It's like
and it's like you don't have to like the show, but to insult people
for doing their
yeah,
job.
that's exactly like for doing their job. They're kind of like, come on, guys. Like,
Well,
and-
what's worse is they're professionals making the thing. Without trying to sound like a jerk again, you're just some dude that watches it.
Yeah, that's it exactly. It's like,
I mean, what am I supposed to care about?
and that's the thing that gets me. That you have person who actually works on the show, coming up saying, "Hey, this is not cool. Please don't do that."
Mhm.
But yet you have YouTuber idiot yada yada yada
Yeah, who cares?
with saying crap like that, and then all of his followers, he must be right, and they go and attack the people. This is
Leave
like,
him alone.
that's like, come on, people, like y'all gotta have more common sense than this. And I'm like, no, they don't. Like, and my mom and dad would say, common sense ain't so common.
Yeah.
And it's really
Well,
sad.
common decency too, because it's like, well, I don't like this, or blah blah blah, and it's like, you realize that these are people spending their lives doing this. There's a ton of stuff out there that I don't like, but I at least go, I can't do blank. It's like there is nothing about professional sports that I like. Nothing. I am not impressed. I don't blah blah blah, but that's my personal opinion. Is it hard? Does it take a dedication to do what they do? It absolutely does. I fully go like, no, this is a real thing that people do, and that you got to respect them for doing it. Do I have to enjoy watching it? No, but I give them all the props for, I can't do the things that they do. I just can't, but it doesn't mean that I hate them.
Right.
I just don't have to watch them, just like, not my thing.
It boils down to that whole thing of, I gotta share my opinion for whatever dumb reason.
I think I shared my opinion a lot when I was younger. I think it didn't take me too many years before I just figured out that there's no point to it. Nobody cares.
Well, that's
And
the
nobody
thing.
should. It's like, who cares what my opinion is?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Exactly
Well, that's
right.
the thing. Back when we were young, we didn't have a platform to share our opinion on. Now, it's the beauty.
I'm glad I didn't, actually.
It's the beauty and the curse of the internet. Everyone has a voice, and everyone has a voice.
And I think everyone needs to get into their heads that that doesn't matter. Like, for example, it doesn't matter what my opinion about anything is. Now, if you like me or respect me or you want to hear my opinion, okay, but whether I like the Powerpuff Girls or this or that is irrelevant to 99.9999% of people. It just is. So why would I expect anyone to care? Now, if I happen to do something and you find it valuable and blah, 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 awesome, great. But I don't walk around thinking anyone's going to care. So, I'll share my opinions on here, but I'm shocked if anyone listens.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody, if anybody respects our opinion, it's like, oh, well, you actually work in this. What do you know? What do you think about it? Like, oh, okay, sure, I'll be more than happy to tell you this. But it's like when you just have.
Well,
like,
here's the
some
funny thing. It's not like we're Pixar people or whatever. I mean, I am a professional artist, but I don't professionally do this. There's huge reasons why people would go like, Eric, I don't care what you have to say about cartooning. Huge reasons. You go to people who work at Cartoon Network or Dr. Movie or whatever, and Disney, and they have more to say about this than I do. I would love to get to a point where maybe my opinion is worth something, but it isn't currently.
And I think that's what, aside from the people who just want to stir the pot and clickbait and want to get people, who want to get the clicks and hits on their websites and videos and stuff like that. I think a lot of times, a lot of people just want to be part of the group, and there's just a lot of people who feel like the only connection they have is through the internet because
I can see that.
and so they want to be part of the basically of the mob.
Yeah. Feel our hate. It's
Yeah.
powerful. All right.
Yeah, from my mother's basement I stab at thee.
Pretty much, yeah. Which is fine. I've been there. I'm just sitting there going like, I think I've moved past the point where, outside of a small number of people, I just don't care what mankind thinks. I just don't. I'm like, why would I? That is a unbelievable waste of my time.
Because people want acceptance, they want to be part of something.
Oh, sure, no, I mean, I get
they want to be
it,
part of
but-
something greater than they are. That's what mankind is, and if it's
I suppose.
with whether it's good or bad, people want to feel like they're a part of something.
It's like, I want to get my movie made in Hollywood. Now, for example, if Hollywood would make one of my stories or whatever, great. But that's not actually my goal. Hollywood is actually one of the last places I would want my stuff made because it's sort of an antiquated, broken system that's, it's good, but it's not great. I love a lot of movies coming out of Hollywood, but not by comparison to the number of movies where I'm like, "Ew." And again, I'm trying not to be insulting. I'm just going like, there you go. It's like the number of American comedies these days that are worth anything. Well, the number isn't zero, but it's real close.
Well, to be fair, we haven't been watching much TV and stuff, and a lot of the comedies that are out there we haven't just watched, so we don't know if they're actually good or not. We just
Maybe they have gotten better, but I remember watching American comedies for 10, 15 years and like laughing a handful of times. Then I watch foreign comedies or older American comedies, and I'm crying laughing so hard. I'm going like, it just takes a certain level of kind of guts to do real comedy, and I don't think a lot of people have that. It's like the last really funny comedy I saw was Tropic Thunder, which was an excellent comedy. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It also took a lot of guts to do it, which is why it was funny.
Well, I mean, and there's a lot of other stuff that's out there that's really funny. It's just that, again, it's brain.
It's brain. I hear you. After this, I am probably going to get shut down stupid by, for the rest of the day. I'm just going to be like, well, I'm going to do whatever.
Have some dinner.
Get some, yeah,
Get some
watch some
dinner.
She-Ra or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also that's another one, She-Ra, that has been getting like
Well,
that.
my only problems with that, they've fixed. It's gotten better.
Yeah, it's the don't read the comments thing. This
Yeah, you don't bother.
Yeah, the
There's no
last
point.
this last thing that I read, it actually physically made me angry, which I was mad at because I fell into the trap of it.
Yeah, don't fall into the trap.
Yeah, what had happened is that some guy was completely angry. That's
cares?
literally that's the baseline of it right there.
That,
But he was
that means nothing.
But he was angry because and these people are I'm still trying to I kind of understand but I don't. But as a long story short, there are a lot of people who are angry with how Voltron ended, the legendary defender, with how it
Okay.
ended.
What was wrong with the ending?
Regarding Shiro marrying the one guy and stuff.
The cute
because-
couple, what?
because apparently his
Who cares?
previous love got killed off,
Yeah.
and so they
No, it was kind of a different ending. It was good for them.
and a lot of people, and like I said, I kind of understand this in the LGBTQ community. A lot of people were angry because they basically shoehorned his status.
It wasn't
in,
a romance show. The fact it was there at all.
Yeah, but let me go back and explain a little. This is how I understood, and when I read, I was like, okay, I actually can agree with them on a sense, because his relationship status, like you said, it wasn't a romance thing. There
It
was
was not a
nothing
romance
really
show.
really involved. The only thing that we saw inklings of was Allura and Lance.
Yeah, that was actually a little bit more. Plot isn't right. It was to add sting to the fact that she didn't, spoiler alert, survive at the end.
Right. Yeah, but
So what was there supposed to be? Just a bunch of gay sex through it?
But they're saying that the representation, if you're going to do that for such an important character, to at least give a little bit more backstory.
Sure.
And that's what that's what they were saying is like.
But that's not enough to get mad at, though.
But and like I said, I understand where they were coming from with that.
Well, it's a good criticism.
Yeah, but on
Yeah.
the other side of that is like most people are just like, yeah, okay. And a lot of the angry stuff came from the fangirls and fanboys who were just the shippers basically.
Yeah.
And so
Fan stuff. Who cares?
Yeah, so
Sorry.
going back to the original, my original thing, this guy was talking. Apparently, he was really angry. One of those really angry people about that. And so because of that, he
I'm
brought
incredibly
in,
angry.
yeah. So because of that, he started talking about She-Ra, and the guy is gay himself, and it's just like people are just he got angry because apparently, how did he say it?
Something wrong with Bo's dads? I thought they were
Um,
funny.
No, he was. Oh, I'm trying to
And
remember.
represented nicely, too.
The thing is, the show itself it actually won the GLAAD, like one of the GLAAD awards, the GLAAD animation, the like the equivalent for the gay and lesbian.
Yeah,
and,
that
and
doesn't
like,
surprise me
yeah,
any.
it actually won. It actually won the award for animation.
Yeah, it
with
makes
that.
sense.
And a lot of gay people are really enjoying the show because of the
Yeah.
representation in it. And I mean, the creator herself, I think she's bi, if I'm not mistaken, Noelle Stevenson. I think she's either
I don't
no,
know.
I think she's actually gay.
Well, maybe she
Yeah,
is.
and
I
she's-
don't know.
And she's married. And so I was
Oh.
like, yeah, like I said, I remember.
Cool.
But
Right on.
this guy proceeded to, like with the what I was talking before, with people dragging down creators for whatever reason, he just completely just railed into her for her. How do you say it? Like something about her not knowing how to correctly represent to representate gay people and all this stuff, and people were just like,
Would you rather have none at all?
most people were
Which
just
is
like,
what was before?
yeah, and most people were just like, what do you mean she doesn't know? I was like, the majority of the cast is like gay or non-binary or.
I just love the
or-
fact that She-Ra keeps blushing at all the really big muscled chicks. That slays me. I keep going like, I'm like, oh, she's just too into, she's too into her job to find any interest in any of the guys. That's cool. I get it. Oh, she's into big muscled chicks. That's hilarious
And I
and
love-
awesome, And
and I love Scorpia being this. She just
Scorpion
wants
is
love.
amazing.
She just wants love, and I love.
And,
her
and you don't even
character.
know if it's romantic love. It literally could be she just really wants a friend. I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah, she just and I.
But-
yeah, and it's just like how can people be angry so pointlessly? It's like one of those things.
They
I'm
got
just
nothing
like,
else better to do.
with just really fun stuff that's supposed to be entertaining, and it's like, and I know the world revolves around and there's tons of different people and everything, but it's just like, can't you guys just be happy for
No.
like.
No, there's just miserable people, unfortunately. And the thing is, I'm not making fun of that. I'm not going like, ha ha ha, they're miserable. I'm like, no, there's just miserable people out there. And I think that's them venting like their misery. Because you're right. It's like, dude, I feel for you. You're part of a, you're part of a group that's not being represented. You should be represented in some fashion. Entertainment's just catching up at this point. And I'm not saying it should be in everything, but it should be there. And so they're trying. Oh, they're not trying hard enough. It's like, would you rather they're not trying at all? Give them time. Give them time to figure it out. It's like... And the fact is, I actually am starting to, enjoy a lot of the shows that has this in it, because it's finally, as somebody watching TV, I'm going like, you get tired of the same characters, the same stories, the same setups over and over again. And I'm not saying like this is like it's like flair. I'm like no, it means something, but it does. It adds variety, and I'm like, finally, we need some freaking variety in some of these shows. And the fact that Voltron ended the way it did, fine. Legend of Korra ended up with two girls together. I mean, in that case, it really had a whole lot more lead up to it. But Legend of Korra was an action show that really involved a lot about the characters. Voltron was a little bit more of just an action show. The fact that they had some romantic stuff in there at all was kind of, there wasn't a ton of it. So I'm like...
And on top of that, to add more story to that, from what I understand, the writers actually did want to add more about Shiro's, his like background and stuff in there, but they weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
And DreamWorks execs would not let them do so. And so finally, when they were ending, literally it was 11th hour. Okay, fine, you guys could add something in there. They're just like, oh, okay, what
It's
do we
better
do?
than nothing.
Yeah, and so they put that in there just to
Baby
go.
steps.
Yeah, they put that in there just to go. Okay, we got the okay. Let's do something at
Sure.
least, because we want to do something. But apparently fans were so angry because Shiro and Keith didn't end up together.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's
There was nothing in the show that would have indicated
it's the
that.
exact same reason why people were angry that Zuko and Katara didn't end up together.
Yeah, it's like, guys, because you didn't get the thing that you personally wanted doesn't mean it's a bad show.
Zuko killed her mom. You don't think she's gonna you really think she's gonna end up with that? Really?
Well, symbolically.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm agreeing with you. Anywho, well, that's not bad. I was really hoping on figuring out what I could do with the eyes, but the more I kept looking at them, I'm like, I don't know what to do with those eyes that's more structural, because it would make it not look like the character.
Yeah, exactly. It's cute.
I'm going to have to dwell on that.
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I love the fact that these are some of the most dangerous little superheroes ever. That's so funny. Watching her just whoop villains is some of the funniest things ever. I realize that's my opinion, but it's my opinion. Anywho, everyone have yourself a good week and all that. Let me see if I can get the box happening. See if I can operate my box. Oh, operated my box. There we go. Always like it when I operate my box properly. All right, well, everyone, have yourself a good week. We will catch you later.